Jack said to me and Meg have been playing music.
I'd like to introduce to you a band that you know and love. Come to you like the sound of equipment being thrown from a moving van, the sound of dead cell phones and oil rigs, the sound of empty parking lots and school buses. They love to live and live to love. Ladies and gentlemen, Jesus Children of America, the White Stripes.
Hello, come on in. The water's great. My name is Ryan Schaap, and this is the hardest podcast to podcast, the only podcast celebrating the White Stripes, and we're doing it one song at a time, one song per episode. This is not one of those episodes. This is a recap of an excursion, if you will, and it's not just me. This is the first episode with I don't know, it's not even a co-host, because every episode has one. Amanda Schultz, my wife, and assistant editorial producer on the hardest podcast to podcast, has joined us. So it's not just me talking into the wind. Hello, Amanda.
Hello. Very happy to be here again.
Yeah. And I'll go out of my way and say this setup was Amanda's idea, and I was grumbling about it, but now it actually works out pretty good.
Not just editorial, you guys. I do so many things. You didn't introduce Stevie yet for the viewers.
Here's our dog, Stevie. Burn and Doodle, named after Stevie Nicks. Her full name is Stevie Licks, and she's a reasonably good dog some of the time.
She just got a fresh summer haircut. So
yes.
She's showing
off. So, yeah, we just did something very exciting for the podcast, and it involved me spending 30 hours in the great city of Chicago. And Amanda, you thought that you should take part in this episode and help tell the story better.
Yeah. Well, I want you to tell me the story all in detail, and figured other people would want to listen because I did not join you on the trip. So I would like you to relay all of the juicy details. So why don't we start with how this trip came about, or this opportunity came about? Paired that part going.
So on Monday, Third Man Hardware announced that they were doing a collaboration with Beatronics guitar pedals, and that they would be doing an event at Reverb in Chicago. And a Reverb is like a Facebook marketplace for instruments, and maybe a little more serious. So this came up, and a good friend of the show, Mike Noble, mentioned that he knew somebody that worked at Reverb and that he would be a great guest for the podcast because his band opened up for Hotel Mira in Chicago. So he messaged him and saying, as he's been known to do, you should come on this podcast. And the guy was like, this sounds great, but I'm like going on tour literally tomorrow. Does your buddy want to come to this VIP event? A invite only event. Was not VIP.
Well, I mean, it's invite only, so
yeah, invite only event that featured Jack, and it would take place 2 hours prior to this pop-up shop, and where the rest of the band would take part in the Q&A, and you could buy the pedal and all this stuff. And I was like, oh, doesn't seem like a great opportunity. One, because you live in Vancouver, and you didn't get enough from the details of the event. So I was put on the RSVP list, and they got back to me the next day, and I just asked, like, can you give me any more insight into this event? Is this going to be like a TED Talk in an auditorium where we watch Jack dick around on a triple caster and then we line up to buy a pedal? And the person at Reverb was like, there's like there's a Q&A, and you get your pedal signed, so you'll have there is an interactive element.
Uh-huh.
And so once we kind of got that information, seemingly everybody I'd ever come across in personal or professional walks was like, you need to go do this.
Yes.
And you were one of them.
Yes.
You left. Why?
I mean, I had the same first thought as you, which was it's obviously a long way to go and it would not be a cheap excursion. But trying to weigh out okay, if this was local or if it was in Seattle or something where you could make the trek, would it be a no-brainer to go, or would you still hesitate? And then figuring well, maybe if we got some more Patreon backers for this show, then we can be affording some trips like this. And
Patreon.com/hardestpod2pod if you do want to watch my vlog of the event where I was alone. I had not many people to talk to until we got to the event. So it's me and a camera walking around Chicago at 7:30 in the morning, killing time.
I'm very excited.
It's worth every penny. And again, it's patreon.com/hardestpod2pod. And go check it out, gang. It is free to look.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, I was like, well, let's just see, like, will this be something worth the trek, or does it seem like it's something for like media, where you would actually potentially be able to have a conversation with them, even if it was quick. And as soon as it seemed like that was what this pre-event was, we're like, duh, we're gonna figure it out.
Yeah, and in this journey, in this process of doing this podcast in the format, like, you know, the lofty goal, well, the one goal is to do an episode for every single song, which we're trucking away on. It's about 140 to 150 songs that there'll be that many episodes. So like this podcast in this format, in this entity, has a shelf life.
Right.
So the lofty goal, though, of course, is to get Jack White on, and he doesn't do many interviews. And, you know, this is an artist, a musician that really respects, you know, somebody and their craft, or somebody putting effort into things. He puts a lot of effort into seemingly everything he does. And I think if you're half-assing something, it's not going to show up on his radar. You've got a whole asset.
Right.
And so won't go into too many details, but I was able to send a arts and crafts project as a formal invite to Third Man Records that allegedly was going to get to him. But this was another step up. Like, hey, I've come here to, I've come in, I've put the time and the energy and the resources into coming here, flying across the country to ask you a question. I'm not stalking. I'm not doing anything. Here's my effort. And if it's a no, then okay, I will keep trying. So that was my mindset going into it.
Yeah. Shoot your shot.
Shoot or shoot, kids. And when it comes to sports, when it comes to life, you got to shoot your shot. So, God bless Aeroplan Points. God bless a wife who enjoys the finer things in life. You know, I was able to make this happen, and took a red eye on Thursday night to Chicago from YVR here in Vancouver. Made sure to go to a box fit class at 6 a.m. that morning, so I'd be nice and tired. Put back a 3 crown.
In case you had to fight off any other podcasters.
Correct. Oh, I stood my ground. Let me get there. Had about 3 Ryan Crown and Cokes in the Air Canada Maple Leaf Lounge. So
affectionately called Ryan Cokes.
Ryan Coke. So I was ready to go fast asleep.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, took the red eye. It's only a 4-hour flight there, so it was a little it wasn't red eye-y enough.
Oh, I know. That's like when we took the red eye to Halifax, and we're like, this was not early enough. It wasn't late enough to sleep, or early enough arriving to go to sleep after.
9 or 10.
More.
Yeah, so I left at 11:35, which worked to my favor, and I just inflated the neck pillow and put on the eye mask. It just just turned on the do not talk to me, and just seemingly slept for most of it.
Amazing.
Take the train into downtown, and I got a colleague at Wrestling Brain is in Chicago, and he gave me a bunch of places to go. Mm-hmm. He also famously took a photo of his TV during a Cubs game, wondering if that was Jack White.
Right.
And our boy Slack is the reason that photo became so famous.
I mean, it's now personally a meme since I discovered that when we were talking about it the other day.
It's the funniest photo ever. And I think he's with his bass player Dominic's family. So he's just kind of like, you just like got him at the worst possible frame.
Yeah.
Of him with, his friends and family. So, so I go to Chicago. I'm downtown.
I mean, if anyone was wondering what I was looking like while Ryan was gallivanting around Chicago, it was that Jack White meme being Scowly and sad that I wasn't there exploring the city with you.
Yes. Based on how things unfolded, it definitely needed to be a whirlwind trip for one.
Yes.
So I had a lot of time to kill.
Yeah. So what time did you arrive? Morning.
Like I got to the O'Hare in like 5:30, 5:45. Terrible airport, by the way.
I know. I was kind of unimpressed by it the first time I went there. I thought it would be like...
It's a dumpy piece of shit. No offense, but like, for like one of the biggest. I mean, but then like, LAX is a crappy airport.
I think we're just spoiled being in Vancouver because it's like a world-class airport. So you assume everything's going to be kind of like that. It's just our little city. So every other airport that's bigger and fancier, it's going to be bigger and fancier.
If you want to see a crappy airport, go to Honolulu. That's one of the worst airports I've ever been to. I mean, outside of like Red Deer's.
Right. I have literally been to like, one of those school desks that's like got the little cubbies, like an airport in Costa Rica that was literally like one of those desks in a cubby and like a little box. I was like, am I going to make it?
Yeah. Is anything about this correct or on the up and up?
Yeah. This doesn't seem like an airport.
So I went and had a breakfast at a place Slack recommended, went to Lou Mitchell's, and I was hoping I'd kill like 2 hours there, and I did not because they were so fast and so efficient. I was like, okay, I'm going to walk around. I went to check out the Bean, affectionately known as Cloudgate, which it's called Cloudgate. It lives in this, and it's on display in this like Millennium Park that they made in like 2004. And it's just like an incredibly cool use of space for like, it's just like a really nice park. They have good community space and a lot of really cool art on display.
Oh, cool.
So, and it's right by the Art Institute now, which didn't open till 11. Otherwise I would have gone there because that is like world renowned.
But you were doing something else at 11, weren't you?
Yes. So I tried to get in the hotel. It was too early. So I just went to a Starbucks and just sat there for an hour and a half.
Were you just drinking espresso and getting more and more amped about your confrontation with Jack?
I needed all the coffee I could get. I did not have enough at breakfast. So I was getting jacked up on coffee. And then I decided to go to a record store because then it was about 9 and everything was open.
Really? A record store at 9?
Yeah. And it was I learned this later. I didn't do my celebrity globe-trotting Google search to find out where CM Punk lived, but I could have walked to his house from there. I did not. And he was getting to me about that time. And I'm just like, I'm going to walk to the venue. I'm going to walk to the Salt Shed. And I'm glad I got there when I got there because you had the lineup of the hardcores that were there to get the exclusive poster that came with a free tattoo voucher. And then you also had the people that were waiting in line for the 2 to 5 event at Reverb. And then I was the third person in line for the closed door, the invite only event.
Right. So there's like a pre-event that is the invite only kind of industry thing, and then it was a public event following that.
Ish. You had to RSVP. It still was somewhat like exclusive, kind of, but yeah, you had to put your name down. Otherwise, you'd have a lot of people flooding the Reverb headquarters.
Right.
So I got in line. There were some people around that I kind of recognized from the internet. And just was sitting around and, making friends. John from Milwaukee was in front of me. He was in town just for the event. He had to go back to get his to his daughter's concert. I should also say I did not have tickets for Jack White of the Salt Shed.
Right, which was that night.
And I'm no joke, I was not that clued into his tour. I didn't realize there was a Jack White concert that night. I thought maybe it was just an off day or he was a different night. I was like, well, I'm just going to go to see the White Sox play the Astros.
Right.
What else am I going to do? Or maybe what concerts are down? Oh, right there is the Jack White concert.
Oh.
So I didn't have a ticket. I was like, we'll just see how things go.
Yeah.
So yeah, do you want me just to keep going?
I think so.
What
I mean, now
what a
you're
co-host.
at the event.
At the event, meeting the hardcores, you see the exclusive Third Man Records merchandise, and you can spot them a quarter mile down the road.
So wait, actually, I have a question for you about when you were in line.
Yeah.
And you're jacked up on coffee. Like, I'm putting myself in those shoes. I don't know what I would do with myself if I
That's the way
I were there. Huh? True. Yeah. Walk me through what you were feeling when you were in line. Not so much like what you were doing.
I was on high alert because some normies got in the 12 p.m. line. Like, they just politely asked the guy, and he's like, just don't fuck around in there, essentially, in no uncertain terms. So I was like, how exclusive is this goddamn thing? Like, right. I was just I was vigilant. I was like, I've come here for this. I've taken time off work. We've spent what we've spent to go here to shoot my shot. I should just say to ask my question. Let's be real. So I'm like, how many of these jabronis, no offense, people, super fans, how many?
The same. Chances are they listen to the show.
I said, how many of you people that aren't on the 12 to 2 RSVP list
me are going to come here
correctly
and steal my airtime?
Yes, it was little brother mindset. So luckily that wound down, and I was just chatting with people, and just knowing I had to be vigilant.
Right.
And so they opened the doors finally. I think Jack had to sign all the pedals, to be honest, so they opened the doors. There I am on the list, not a big deal. Get a wristband, give you 2 drink tickets. I was like, well, shit. It's noon. I've had 3 hours. I've had 2 hours of sleep and relatively empty stomachy. So I put back a tall boy Pilsner and I buy the pedal. I go by the pedal and just go right to the front.
Okay, I am picturing. So for the listeners at home, when I went to my first Jack White concert, it was at the Pacific Coliseum a few years ago, and I went with Ryan, obviously. And I have never seen that you move the way that you moved when they allowed our lineup to go to the front.
Yeah,
because we were fault early entry.
Correct.
And they were very clear, no running. But the Olympic speed walking shuffle that you did is what I'm imagining you're doing when you enter, or were you trying to play it cool more so?
People weren't going to the front, and they're people were just kind of mingling. All of the pedals were on display. Every piece of Third Man hardware was there. You could play a triple caster through all of the gear with headphones on. It was really, cool. It was a very cool setup. I just knew that with being an early entrant at a Jack White concert with the Vault member exclusive early entry, I know exactly what I get. Right. So I know that I get to go to the merch stand, buy what I need. I get to go right to the front of the house and just basically sit down and I will be here until further notice. With this, I didn't really know how it was going to go, or, what my chances, how interactive it was going to be. So I never really had that, I didn't have a spring in my step. I wasn't floating. It was just okay, we need to make the most of this. We're here. We have this opportunity. Let's just don't fuck around, right. Is essentially. So I was I'm going right there. I'm where's the Beatronics pedal? Give it. Okay, I'll take that. And then I just stood at the front. I made friends with the guys that were shooting it in-house, and hey, let's talk a little shop. Let me refer to the tripod as sticks.
I'm a cool guy here.
Hey,
you don't have to worry about me. Yeah. I'm a crew too.
And then I just kind of sat there, and I made friends with a guy. I think his name was Tim. He's from Chicago. He followed me.
Hi, Tim, if you're listening.
I think his name is Tim.
Hi, probably Tim, if you're listening.
And he gave me some recommendations for where to get deep dish, which I didn't do, and I apologize. I think it was Tim. I'm just gonna look right now just to make sure. It was Tom. It was Tom.
Tom. Oh, close.
Sorry, Tom.
Hi, Tom.
He was a wealth of knowledge and very, very helpful.
I'm sure you met a ton of people that day.
Yeah, I did. That was kind of the big thing of all of this that was just so strange. Not strange, but just like uplifting. Unexpected was just this kind of sense of community with it all.
Of course.
But so Jack White comes out, they introduce him, and a guy from Reverb was doing a Q&A with him. And I had thought up my $1 million question beforehand.
Mm-hmm. Which was?
My question I was going to ask was going to be, Third Man Hardware has high-end boutique pedals, like, this is high, top of the line shit. But you've also made a conscious effort and, explained to people that you also want to make accessible gear at a price point that, the average Joe can buy. My question is, what do the two things have in common? What is something that goes into the high-end top of the line pedal, but also goes into the $100?
Mm-hmm.
Crushed it.
Great question.
Didn't have time to ask it. Because it was more of a general interview. And then it came time to, Jack had made a gag, I made a quick reply, and he followed up. So like there was a brief rat-a-tat-tat.
Wait, so you did ask my question?
No. I was saying, like, before the Q&A, my presence was known.
By who?
By Jack and the guy there.
How?
Because Jack, they were talking about all the tones that he was to get through his pedal board, and he's like, "Nah, I just got it all through an app." And I yelled, "Hey, what's that cost?" And Jack looks at me and goes, $9.99. So I was, hey, over here, look at me.
Yeah.
So
okay, I get it now.
Came time for questions, and I'm like, okay, they're not talking about pedals, they're talking about like him as an artist and the new album and stuff. So I immediately put my hand up and I asked something that I've brought up a lot on this podcast, which is the return of playing slide guitar,
right?
Or the return of using the K for something other than Seven Nation Army. So I asked. First off, I introduced myself and I said took a red eye to get here from Vancouver.
Ryan Schaap, hardest podcast to podcast.
No joke. I got applause because I took a red eye.
Oh.
And then I said,
not for the podcast.
No,
for the red eye.
No, for the red eye. And then I said that I also do a White Stripes podcast, and I'll ask you more about. I'm courting you for.
Mm-hmm.
I said, my question is, why has it taken you 15 years as a solo artist to play slide guitar again?
Mm-hmm.
Because he didn't do it until No Name. And so if you went and saw Jack White from 2012 until 2024, the only time that a slide guitar or a slide in the K hollow body would come out would be for Seven Nation Army, the last song of the night.
Right.
And not to toot my own horn, but toot, I don't think anybody's asked him that.
Right.
And I bring this up so much on the podcast that, like, as soon as he started using that again, the whole approach, the approach to music, or the music that was coming out of him, has drastically changed.
Mm-hmm.
And I am paraphrasing, he said something along the lines of, he joked that he forgot about it. And then when he came solo, he wanted to kind of differentiate himself from the White Stripes because that was such a huge part of him.
Right.
And then he just kind of realized how much he appreciated that style of playing and how important it was to him. And now he's just guns blazing again. And they kind of, they're talking about it after my question. And I was just like, without a mic, I'm like, dude, did you have me? Like, and I was like, you got so many good songs since you started playing that. And I'm like, Rough on the Rats? And he's like, yeah, Rats. And I was like,
it's my favorite.
And I go, Jesus Christ. And I'm like, pardon my French, but that's a good song. And so that was good. Another person asked a question. I can't remember what it was. Apologies to them. And then a couple other things. There were some questions from Instagram,
mm-hmm.
and it was over.
Was it live streamed?
I don't believe so. It was just shot.
Oh, okay.
And we had to sign a waiver so that we can probably appear in it.
Nice. Very good.
And then that was over. Jack went to the back and they're like, okay, get in the line. Jack's going to sign guitar pedals and he's only signing pedals.
Right.
So you basically, listen, I respect the hustle. That's a good price point that you got to buy to get signed. So I would have done the same thing. So I may be in second or third in line. I am not fucking around.
Yeah.
And they had, the funny thing is, they're like, Jack's going to sign the pedal, which is right there. So there's I'll hide that part.
I like that it looks like a can of tuna.
It is, and that's what it's named after.
I know.
So I open up my can of tuna and I'm like, shit, this thing's already signed. And I'm like, guys, don't tell anybody. And I'm like, guys, these are not signed. Don't say anything. Like, we need to get this opportunity. We need to make this opportunity happen.
What do you mean?
Like, I was worried that because this is already signed, it would be like
that you wouldn't get a FaceTime.
Yeah, like get out, go buy a Bumble Buzz for $400.
I see.
So I'm just like, everybody shut up. So then
they're like, Amanda, is this in the budget if I have to buy another pedal?
I had to buy them all.
Oh no.
So then
I'd do an audit. I'd call the event. Like, did he actually have to buy all the pedals to talk to Jack?
And there's like a note I have left being like
a doctor's note.
All the pedals. So they said, okay, he's already signed these, but it's okay. Cause the lineup was for any pedal. So if you bought a pedal there, you got it signed.
Got it.
So when I came up, I was just like, hey, you already signed this. Can you just make it out to Ryan? Mm-hmm. And that's what Jack did. And
okay, but before that,
yeah,
what did he say to you? Like, was that the first thing he said?
That's the first thing that I said to him. And then
But what was the major revelation of the interaction?
I'm getting there.
Oh, okay.
So that's the first thing I asked him. And I said, can you just make it out to Ryan? I said, Jack, as I was saying, I flew on a red eye all the way here from Vancouver just to ask you to come on my podcast. Mm-hmm. And he goes, what podcast? And I'm like, it's the hardest podcast to podcast. We're doing we're covering the White Stripes. And he's like, yeah. Oh, and I'm like, I did an episode with Ben Blackwell. He's like, oh, yeah, I saw that. I saw some of it. I saw clips or whatever. I recognize your face. And I'm like, yeah, hell yeah.
I did ask you before you went, maybe like the night before when you were packing, and I was like, are you emotionally prepared for the fact that he might recognize you? Like, do you think there's a chance he would?
And my answer would be, I was not emotionally prepared because I didn't assume anything.
Of course.
I couldn't assume shit because if I'm like, I'm surely you know about my podcast.
Oh my God, no, there's nothing that could have been more cringe than that. But I wanted to ask you to have the thought enter your head before that minute, just in case, because I don't know if it was me, it would have like massively thrown me off if he was like, oh yeah, I recognize your face.
Well, I had to prompt him so much, so it didn't really hit me that.
Yeah.
And so he's like, I had Blackwell on, and he goes, oh, that's the guy you should have on. And I was like, yeah, I know. And I just kind of said to him, I'm like, I'm not looking to know what's in the secret sauce or how the songwriting process. It'd just be a granular conversation about that time. Didn't get an opportunity to explain to him how the format works or what. And I had another line I thought of the night before where I was going to say, I've never heard a good Jack White interview. Mm-hmm. Or sorry, I've never heard a great Jack White interview. Mm-hmm. And that's not the knock at you, it's the person across the table. Like, he did Mark Maron.
Yeah.
And I'm like, it's fine. And he's done a bunch of interviews. I haven't watched his Conan one, but I'm like,
what makes them not great? Like, good, not great, in your opinion?
There's a baseline of things that are known about Jack White that are unique. Mm-hmm. And they've been brought up for decades.
Right.
And it's like, I think everybody knows they are unique. I think that the backstory to Seven Nation Army is unique, but it has been told and told and told and told. Right. The fact that he doesn't have a set list, that is very unique. It's incredible. It's probably the best thing about him as a live artist. But it's like, how many interviews do I need to hear from 2002 to 2026 that are, by golly, I can't believe you don't use a set list?
Right. Well, and what's unique about a podcast like this that does a deep dive versus appearing on those other shows where like they have really good conversations, they're not surface level, but like if you're Mark Maron, you are assuming that you're exposing an artist to people that listen to your show, not
Exactly.
that artist, and a mix of that artist fans. So you're gonna have the repeat questions.
Of course. And yeah, that it's exactly as you put it. You're exposing an artist to a broad general audience.
But I can imagine that would be frustrating and annoying for the artist to give like the same answer all the time and try to like keep it fresh, but then also like tell the same story.
And I also don't want, I don't want, if he's gets this idea in his head, if he thinks about this more, I'm like, I also don't want this to be the most inside baseball episode ever.
Right.
Like I have a conscious effort, I am making a conscious effort that these episodes, all the ones we've done, as granular as they are, I'm doing my best that if you're a first timer, I'm providing the context. If you're a casual fan, you don't know much about it, like I'm making these conversations and these episodes accessible.
Oh, for sure. It's one of the things that I marveled at right away was I admittedly know the hits and then through osmosis have been exposed to a lot of Jack White and White Stripes, but there's a lot of songs that I listen to for the first time when we do an episode, and I've always loved how it really does still work for an outsider, but then also gives enough for insiders.
It's like, yeah, if you are a fan of music and you want to know a bit more about a band or get into it, because if you to somebody that's not a fan of the White Stripes, they're gonna like, what is all this? It's like, it's popular, but why?
But why?
And so if you consume this show, it gives you that context without being like full on nerd babies about them. Like, you're not listening in it. You don't need to listen to it with a glossary to translate the nerd speak.
Yes.
And that's something I take great pride in, and
you should
it needs to be more known, more well known, so that this whole goal comes to fruition.
Yes.
So anyway, back to my dialogue.
Yes. So you're talking to Jack. You asked him to come on the show. You had this question. Like,
I'll tell you. I want to tell you this. So I was talking with somebody that I met at the event that listens to the podcast.
Was it Tom? Was it Tim?
It's not Tom. It's their username is just Fan Kitty on Instagram, and
I'm Van Kitty on Instagram.
They're from Vancouver now, or in Ontario.
Oh, right. Sault Ste. Marie.
Yeah.
Yes.
In the Sioux. So, she was just like talking with me about like how could you drum up the ability to have a conversation. And as soon as Jack came in, I just like looked at his hair and I was like, oh, he's 51.
Yeah.
His hair is jet black. I'm sure it is. The hair I'm looking at is jet black. That's all I need to know. But I'm just like, oh yeah, he's got a bit older rocker guy hair.
Right.
And it just immediately humanized him.
Totally.
And the same thing, there's two other instances where like, when we went to Graceland, this was like such an eye-opening moment for me, because we're taking the bus up to see Elvis's house. And like, you see Jack White, you see this image of this guy, this musician, this like, Robert Smith from The Cure having guy, just enigmatic. And then I'm like, oh, that's just a guy. Oh, he's a little nervous. His foot's tapping as he starts answering questions. When we went to Graceland, I'd seen all this stuff about Elvis's house for decades. My dad's a super fan. And as we showed up, I was like, man, this is kind of a small house.
Yeah. You're like, wait, it's actually
just a house.
Just a house. Like,
and I'm
it's
like,
a house.
There's like 900 coats of paint on it.
Yeah.
So I'm like, okay, it's just a house now. So I was like, as soon as I see him and his hair, I'm like, oh, he's just a guy.
Right.
And I had no issues communicating with him. So the wrap up of the conversation with him was talking about the podcast. He says, I turned down like a lot of podcasts. And then he just kind of like looks at me and goes, I'll think about it.
I
And
don't know.
I was going to say my line about I've never heard a good podcast from you before his handler guy. I want to go back and ask him his name because I've seen him like around for
The
like,
handler? I mean, you could ask Ben Blackwell,
I could.
friend of the pod.
Dear friend who's trying to sabotage this.
Yes.
But I was like, is that Ian Montone or is it a different guy? He's like, hey, come on, move it along. We got to go here. And I was like, yeah, okay. So I get out of there and I'm just like, I pull myself out of the water slide.
Yeah. So like walk me through, you're like 3 steps away from Jack and you're now like processing what just happened. What did you feel?
I felt optimistic because I find him to be a genuine individual and not a bullshitter.
Very.
And
that comes across even without the deep dive exposure, Keith.
It's if he didn't want to do it and he didn't have this connection through Ben Blackwell, he would just be like, hey man, I don't think I'll be able to do it. Or it's just like, I don't do podcasts, but keep an on.
Yeah.
And I was ready for that type of answer.
I've had that thought too, that I was like, I feel that if it was a no, and I'm not saying that means it's a yes, but like,
Correct.
It's a very real not no. And that there's a lot of ways that you could give a no, but say, I really don't do podcasts, but I like what you're doing here. I
Correct.
think you should still keep doing it. Go for it. That also doesn't lead you on. So I do believe he's genuinely think about it.
And I think so. And I just think that in the middle of a tour where all this crazy shit's happening all the time, it's just like, let me look at my inbox when I get home.
Right.
He knows I'm not going anywhere.
You're a third of the way through the catalog.
Exactly.
It's perfect time to pick up first counts.
So I step out of there. The line keeps moving. And then my
How
pal,
many people were at this event, the pre-event?
somewhere between, I would say 50 people, maybe. It wasn't very busy.
Okay.
But then my pal John, who was in front of me in line from Milwaukee, he just like comes up to me and he goes, "Oh, I snapped these photos of you." And I was
John,
like,
what a guy.
and I'm like, and I didn't ask him to do this. I just made my piece. Like, okay, there isn't going to be the awkward stand and replace photograph where I'm like,
Step and repeat.
Sorry, where it's like, I met him and I'm like, yeah. So it's like fine.
Where you both have like the hovering hands.
And there's like this much space between hips.
Yeah, I can't with those photos. I don't know what I would do is the person or the celebrity.
I would have asked to do the fists like for fighters. So like Jack.
Why? Is that a Jack White thing or
no?
just
But it's a wrestling. But like, think of a better photograph. Like, just give me your fist.
It's true.
Because then you're not going to be like, or this or hang loose. You're just like, put your fist up and look hard. Because then you don't have to do an awkward smile. It's like, give me your fighter's pose.
It's true.
Yeah. So I would have said
something different.
Plus, Jack knows how to throw down. So
it's true.
I'd like to see that fucking hand.
Mm-hmm.
So John from Milwaukee like took these photos and he just like, put your number in my phone and text me.
Yeah.
And that was like the first moment of like, this is no, this is I'm not alone here. So
yeah.
I came to the event totally. I flew here alone.
Yeah.
And I don't know how it's going to go. And then I'm making pleasant choices.
It goes well.
Yeah. And so he gives me those and he's just like, yeah, just like, and I think he made I believe it wasn't him. It was somebody else. I say, thank you. And I'm like, I just got to go decompress. I grab another beer. And then about 4 or 5 people came up to me that like listen or that watch or listen to the show.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, I did not expect anybody to be there. I'm like, I don't know where you are from or where you live. It's like I know how many people listen, but then they came up to me, which is like an awkward thing to do in And I commend them.
Did they ask you to do a picture with a fighting pose?
It's too many of them because they're smart. Also, anybody watching or listening to this now knows that that's the genius way. Like, just put up your left.
Sure.
If I met Taylor Swift,
Fighting pose?
come on, and then you can have your fists nearby and you're just looking. No,
Mugging?
just like
I don't know.
it is, because then you don't have to pretend.
Sure.
So a handful of people came up to me and said they liked the podcast and which was really special. And I did not expect it. It was the furthest thing from what I expected. And then somebody from Reverb came up and it's like, oh, I love the podcast. And I'm like, okay, I'm doing something right.
Yeah, that's amazing.
And so I went and got another beer, housed it. I bought a guitar strap. I bought a
where is that?
concert,
you have
it's
all
on
your
the guitar.
tickets to show off?
And I bought the Third Man Records,
which kind of looks like a whistle.
Yeah, these are the concert earplugs.
Mm-hmm.
I manifested those.
Right.
So I bought those, and then I posted the photo to Instagram, and it was Tears Van Kitty on Instagram, who's followed for a while, and I believe listens to the show. She DM'd me, and it's like, oh, are you here? Like, I'm here too. And I was,
at the event or just in Chicago?
She was in line for the concert, for the poster.
Mm.
And so I spoke to Bobby Emmett, the keyboard player. He was really nice, and we have some mutuals in common.
Mm-hmm. Were you wheeling and dealing to get other band members or
no
Third Man associates?
Nothing like that. It was not top of mind.
Mm-hmm.
It's just to kind of connect with people.
Right.
And Bobby and I talked about Sloan for a little bit, and I was going to speak to Dominic because I told him not to wear his Toronto Maple Leafs t-shirt at the Vancouver shows.
Very good.
And he was like, well, why not? And I'm like, just don't.
I mean, to be fair, there's more Maple Leafs fans here than Mariners, or not Maple Leafs, Blue Jays fans than Mariners.
So I didn't talk to him, and then I go outside. I meet our friend from the Sioux.
Wait, how did it come up that he was going to wear his Maple Leafs jersey here?
He has, because in Jack White's band, you can only wear black, white, or blue on stage. So he's got this throwback, this really cool ringer tee, a Maple Leafs ringer tee. And I just commented on I replied to one of his posts, like one of the tour pics. I'm like, don't wear that in Vancouver this week. And he was like, why not? And it was in the playoffs. And he's like, so you tell me I could whip up. He's like, wouldn't you be cheering for the Maple Leafs in the playoffs because they're Canadian? I'm like,
I see.
No, young. Yeah.
Okay. Which is why my brain is baseball.
So I go outside. I talk to Tears Van Kitty. I forget her name. I apologize. I don't know if I shared names. But she had befriended some people that were like front of the line.
Yeah.
And a couple, and the woman was a student and was going to try to get a student rush pass.
Yeah.
And Tears Van Kitty was like, I've cut a deal with them.
Yeah.
Or, she's doing the legwork. And if they get one, they will sell it to me for $20, which is what the student rush tickets go for. And I was like, all right, I don't see this happening, but that's amazing. In this, from that moment to me taking an Uber home or back to the hotel, I got a Reddit ticket scam.
Yeah.
I posted in the Jack White subreddit and said like, oh, I'm looking for a ticket with Salt Shed.
Maybe some listeners will take pity on you for being Craigslist scammed or Facebook Marketplace scammed and become monthly subscribers.
Okay, so I got scammed out of $50 American,
which is like $5,000 Canadian.
Yeah, and so to be a $5 Canadian monthly packer, it is not hard to do. Oh, a listener of our Chantal gave $25 on Buy Me a Coffee.
Woo!
So thank you for that. That's
awesome.
Helping negate the scam.
Yeah.
But then I went and had an Italian beef. I had a power nap. I went to a bar to have a couple drinks by myself.
What's an Italian beef?
It's like a beef dip, and it was submerged in gravy. It was pretty damn good with either hot or sweet peppers on it.
Oh.
So I housed that. It was great. And then I just saw a bar, and I'm like, this City Nickies is calling my name,
Excellent.
and went and just had a couple beers, and then I got the word that they got the ticket, worked out the deal, and I should mention I'm dog ass tired at this point.
Yeah, because you've been going nonstop. And that was the first time you actually hit the hotel because
Yeah,
I got in at like 6.
Yeah, so I didn't hit the hotel until after the event, and I took like an hour and a half nap,
Mhm.
and went and had a couple of drinks, had the Italian beef, got the ticket, and then I didn't know when the show was. I knew doors were at 5:30, which felt early,
Mhm.
and I'm like, I'll just head there when I head there. And the big guy upstairs was guiding me in the right direction because I showed up. I'm like, oh man, this opening band is crushing it. And it was Jack White's. He has this DJ who spins actual records and like gets the crowd pumped up.
Oh, cool.
And he was fucking awesome. He follows us on Instagram, Chris Schultz, DJ Chris Christ Eater. And I was just like, I was at the show, and you like, just like he's hyping up the crowd. He's like,
Awesome.
this next song, this goes out. Like, this is like, and he's like kind of giving the context, and like, it was really like, it added so much. And
Cool.
I messaged him, and he's like, wow, that's so nice of you to say. That makes me feel really great. And I really appreciate it.
Huh.
So I get to the venue. It's the Faraday bags are back.
Ooh.
So they were No Name Tour. You could take photos, and now it's a phone-free show. So I put that gimmick, or I put my phone in the gimmick. It had a little lanyard, and I went and got an $18 American double Jack and Coke.
Woo-wee.
And then walked straight to just into the pit.
Yeah.
There was no pit. It was a very civilized crowd. And got ready for the show. It was about 8 or 10 people in front of me. I think I actually saw the woman that politely asked to go in to the event.
Oh, they got in the line.
Yes.
That made you squirrely.
Very squirrely.
This is about me. One extra person will dilute the me to Jack ratio.
Yeah. So that was Callie, Kalli.
Yeah, Callie.
Callie
Hi,
Ricka.
Callie.
I made friends with her, and I saw her in the show, but I a little too snug to get over there. So
Just like a little wave.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the show was like really, like, it was outstanding. And I'm not somebody that's like, every Jack White concert is amazing. I've seen 2 stinkers.
Yeah.
We went to 1 stinker.
I mean, I thought all of them were good.
Okay.
And I became a bona fide Jack stan after that first one.
So, one thing that got me excited about this, like, I've never seen Jack White outside of Vancouver.
Really?
No.
I thought you traveled for shows. I don't know.
No, I'm not that type.
I've traveled with you to other shows.
Well, we went to the War on Drugs in Toronto.
Yeah.
That's it.
Really? Well, okay. Well, we're going to Dublin for Jack too.
That's true. So it was great to be in Chicago is steeped in music history. It's just like, it's when you think of blues, you think of Chicago, you think of Memphis. So like it was cool to be in a city that had a reputation, that it had a history. No offense to Vancouver, but lots of offense to Vancouver. There's nothing about, there's nothing to hang your hat on.
It's a small town disguised as a big city.
Yeah. And I got to go to a venue. It was an outside show. It was in this space. I mentioned
Is it like an amphitheater?
No, it was an old industrial salt shed.
What is a salt shed?
Like
for literally
storing salt, like a big barn looking thing.
Cool.
So you can have indoor shows, and then next to it, you can have outdoor shows.
I see.
And I actually got a little it was like warm hearted because the guy I talked before the Reverb event was talking about how they made this space, and it's become such an important pillar of the community for live music. And there's a brewery there, and like a thrift shop, and a distillery, and you have 2 venues, and it's just like very quickly become an important part of like Chicago's culture.
Cool.
So I got warm fuzzies at the Millennium Park, and then I got warm fuzzies thinking about like, it's just how great it is that a city is creating and fostering all of these important spaces
Right.
for community and for gatherings. And like, that's the most important thing.
Yeah.
As you kind of get older and realize how sensible communities work.
Yeah.
So
Well, I mean, you live in a no fun city.
that's
It
right.
becomes prominent how much there is in other places.
Yes, there is no fun and no venues in this town. And even the new nice amphitheater next door
Gorgeous. You love it. We're excited.
has a strict 96 decibel decibel limit on shows. But the Salt Shed was such a cool place. I've never seen a show at a venue like that. And like when we saw the War on Drugs in Toronto, like RBC Echo Beach was like just cool.
Yeah.
You go to these places and you're like, these would not be at home for
Right.
reasons 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, etc. So I'm like, I get to see Jack White outside. I get to see him in Chicago. You know,
You got to talk to him earlier.
oh yeah, I
all the
also
time.
talked to him. He recognized my face.
Yeah.
I digress. And there's the river is right beside it because it's on Goose Island, and there was like 40 boats and kayaks like parked, and we're checking out the show.
Oh, cool.
So you're right there. So I'm like, it just made it more special.
Mm-hmm.
And they come out, they start playing Black Math, and like really turn it into like a lot of blues improvisations. They go to
Okay, question.
yeah.
Do you think, like, does his band know the first song that they're going to play? Or is it like everyone takes their stations and then he's like,
Well,
Black Math?
it starts with a jam. So they start jamming, and then Jack kind of gets an idea of like, then he pulls something out of his ass.
Okay.
So it could be old scratch blues. It could be that's how
Well,
I'm
yeah, he
feeling.
was starting with that pretty consistently.
So he's had some minor set listy things about it. On the Fear of the Dawn tour, he would play Taking Me Back into Fear of the Dawn. He opened with the first 2 songs on the new album.
Right.
And on the No Name tour, it was Old Scratch Blues or That's How I'm Feeling, pretty consistent.
Yeah.
But he plays Black Math, and there's blues like improvisation, and like I was just getting jacked up on like Chicago blues already, and like it's happening. Like he is playing, he's catering to his environment. He's becoming one, he's a product of his own environment at this point. And he jams on a song called Born in Chicago. They play a bunch of White Stripes. They did Black Math, The Same Boy You've Always Known, which is probably the best White Stripes song that's not a single. Catch All Blues off Icky Thump, Fell in Love with a Girl. And they did Hardest Button to Button with a bit of I Think I Smell a Rat. Yes. I did listen to see if he would change the lyrics to Hardest Podcast to Podcast.
No dice?
He did not, which is fine.
That's fine. I mean, that's a lot to ask. Maybe next time. Maybe in Dublin.
Yes. Well, he'll learn his lesson.
Yeah.
When we saw him in Vancouver, I believe it was when the second name, and I went to see it with Mike Noble. They played a cover of a Bob Dylan song called Outlaw Blues. And they do Outlaw Blues on their Under Blackpool Lights DVD from 2004. And for whatever reason, I've always loved Outlaw Blues, like from that video, from that DVD. And then I liked his version. Like, it's just such a it's such a staple. Like,
I love when he gets really bluesy.
And
I am like, that is more my genre of music anyway.
Yes.
I think the songs of his that I like the most from solo stuff and especially White Stripes, is
totally
when he really leans into the bluesy stuff.
Yes. I could not agree. So he's playing. So when he played Outlaw Blues last year, I was talking to our pal Van Kitty, and she was saying how when they were playing, they played Baby Blue, which is a cover that they would do as the White Stripes. And she said that like she was mouthing the lyrics but trying to process what the song was, because like with Outlaw Blues or with Baby Blue, these two covers, like they're very like they're ingrained in me because they do Baby Blue at their big Reading Festival gig that kind of put them on the map. And I've heard them cover that song 1,000 times. Like I've listened to it so many times. And they start playing Baby Blue, and I'm like you're just like, oh, fuck, like forget about Dead Leaves or Black Math or all these songs. Like this obscure cover that they're probably playing because they're in Chicago is just as special. And so like my jaw was on the floor because him and Meg would do that frequently, and they just crushed it. So that, that was a White Stripes song, but not a White Stripes song.
Right.
It's Gene Vincent's and his Blue Caps.
Oh.
So he closes, he does Ball and a Biscuit, which is, obviously one of the best White Stripes songs.
Mm-hmm.
And at this point, I'm like, I'm tired. I know where the night's going to go. I know that they're wrapping up. I'm like, if I haven't had 2 hours of sleep in 2 days.
And 14 coffees, and also like the adrenaline crash of...
I would have probably stayed there. But I'm like, you know what? I kind of just want to start making my way to the back. And then I saw and I'm glad I did, because there were a bunch of people, like the venue backs onto the river. So you could just like sit on this kind of, they had like, I don't know, wooden benches or whatever. That was essentially, here's the bench, here's the river.
Yeah.
So like, it was another great way to kind of check out the concert. So I kind of stood there, I noticed all the boats, and I'm like, oh, this is much different than I expected.
Yeah. It's cool to like take a step back and have a different perspective. And especially when you're also going to see him on this tour and saw him recently, and you're like, okay, I know he's going to close with Seven Nation Army. And what a cool song to just like watch other people experience for the first time.
And that's what I did. And then I went and bought a tall boy PBR, and I'm like, I'll drink this home.
Yeah.
And then it's like, got to a point, it's like no alcohol behind this point, and I'm like,
glug, 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 glug.
I was just like, I said to the guy, I just bought this. He's like, and I'm so.
I mean, it was probably like 45 Canadian dollars.
Yeah.
I mean, when I got the text from you that you got a ticket to the show, I was like, there are two ways that this night is going to go. One is that you will like hobble to the finish line of the concert. Like you'll basically crash when you know it's going to be like the last song of the night.
Yeah.
And then you're going to realize you're totally running on fumes, or you're going to be out all night and then just go straight to the airport again. The adrenaline, I figured might carry through.
Yeah, and there was parts where the way I'm wired, I just like, I'm tired. I don't want to feel crappy out and about. I just want to, I had all of the excuses to phone it in.
Right.
But I also knew that like, this is a whirlwind, everybody knows about this and knows what you're doing. Mm-hmm. Like, now is not the time to be like, I got a burger from the room service. So,
well, and knowing like when I talked to you earlier in the day, and you were kind of like marveling at how people had recognized you from the show and told you about how the show was.
No. I marveled at the community.
Yes.
I marveled that I arrived alone and I left with a group. Like, that's how I don't, because it is cool to be recognized, but it's even.
But it was the fact that you were surprised that like there were listeners there.
Yes, absolutely.
That was very cool, and it was very genuine when you were just like, I can't believe there are all these people here. I'm like, well, duh, like the show's great and people are excited about this band and you're doing something cool and people believe in it and see the work that you're putting in. And so I was like, oh, maybe he'll like have a little posse that he goes out with in the night.
I thought about it, but by the end I just wanted to.
It's a big day.
It's a big day, and I was like, I'm just gonna walk because to get there you got to go on the highway and
just chug this beer.
Well, but like,
wait, you chug this beer and then you're gonna walk on the highway?
No, I'm saying to get an Uber or a Lyft, they have to like drive onto the highway, and it's just a whole thing. Right. Sorry, a freeway.
Freeway, yes.
So I'm like, this fucking downtown core seems pretty walkable. Like, there's a bunch of like bridges over the river. I'm like, I'm just going to walk over there, see how I'm feeling. That's how I'm feeling. And either get an Uber or a Lyft, or I I wouldn't mind taking a Lime scooter home.
Yeah.
And I was just like, I'm going to take
Well, you're so jacked after a pun intended. I keep doing it. We both do. But you're so excited after a concert. Like, I need to wind down anyway.
And yeah, absolutely. And so I'm going to take this Lime scooter until it doesn't feel safe. And so none of the streets were busy. And I just popped on that thing and just took in, like, we live in a small town disguised as a big city. And like the cool thing about big cities is like you go down one street, there's a bunch of houses and bars and restaurants, and you go to the next one and it's just like they go forever.
Yeah.
In Vancouver, it's like we have streets that have things and then blocks upon blocks of residential and nothing.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just such a novelty to just, I'm just navigating my way through this very alive city.
Yeah.
And I'm just seeing bars busy, people out and about, going past fucking basketball courts with people playing pickup games with like rap music just blasting.
At like midnight?
It was like 10:30, 11.
That's fun.
Just fun.
Yeah.
And I'm like, this is so cool. And like, I also think like, how in American politics, a talking point would be what a war zone Iraq is. Or sorry, Chicago is. I was thinking...
I was like, where are you going to this?
Kanye West would refer to it as Chirac. Anyway, he's from Chicago. It's fine. Okay. But it became a talking point.
Means anything Kanye West says fine? No.
He's working on himself. He's apologized, but he still said a lot of bad things. Anyway, you hear all these talking points about what a war zone Chicago is and a hellhole. And like, you hear it from a certain side of the political spectrum in the United States. I was in select neighborhoods in select parts of town, but I just loved it. It was an alive city.
I've always wanted to go.
Yeah. Visually, like architecturally, it was so special. And
it's a real, like, I don't know. It is an art city, but it's not in the way that like New York is. It's like so obvious, but like Chicago is like, yeah, it is up there for theater, for music, like the blues history of Chicago.
It's it's like in my 30 hours there, like I just really took an appreciation for it. I can't say I like fell in love with it or I was influenced by it, but I'm like, there's so much to explore here. And just riding the scooter, I felt very safe the entire time I was there. And, I was glad. I was glad that, and, the rhetoric was very wrong. I didn't expect it to be correct, but I was just like, this is pretty sweet.
Awesome.
So go back. I tried to go to a blues bar. There was a blues bar near the hotel called Chicago Blue, but it was really snug and busy.
Which is my main point. Actually, I said, you have to get deep dish pizza and you have to go to a blues bar for me.
So
and you did neither?
I did neither. I tried.
Wow.
There were like a lineup outside.
Wow.
Even as a party of one. And I think looking back, it's probably a good thing I didn't do that, but I wish I did it. And then went home.
Wait, why do you think it's a good thing you didn't? Were you just like wrung out,
tired, and then like if I was out till 1 o'clock in the morning or whatever, who knows how much more challenging my travel day would have been.
Sure. Yes.
So I went back to the hotel. Dodgeball was on Comedy Central, the movie.
Oh, nice.
And I'm like, I'm like, man,
the perfect bookend to your day.
People quoted the shit out of this movie. Because Ben Stiller does the "Nobody makes me bleed my own blood," and
that's from Dodgeball.
Yeah, and I just like a mirror smashed, and I'm like, oh my god! It's just 2004 nostalgia. Elephant World Tour coming right and ate some candy, and then in the morning went to get some. Looked up the best donuts in Chicago, and went to the donut vault. Took a scooter there and back. And
okay, your favorite snack has not yet made an appearance, which is Chicago things.
I bought that at the airport, though.
I know, but you didn't get it throughout.
No, I didn't have time to snack.
That is like, I don't know, when we first started dating, you're like, I love Chicago Mike's. And I was like, what? Who is this guy?
It's such
Is it even an actual Chicago thing? Like, am I about to find out that it's not even
I think it
about
is,
Chicago?
but I think it's like more touristy than.
I mean, most snacks are.
Yeah.
Except Nanaimo bars. Those are for real.
Yeah, absolutely. Very good.
So good.
And then when I flew home because of points, it was a little bit extra to get business class to Edmonton.
This is where I was wheeling and dealing.
It was like 5,000 more points or something.
No, it was like basically the same price.
Oh,
to do even to do points on regular fare, which is what I was trying to book. And
Yeah.
then it was like 70% business class if you connected through Edmonton. So maybe that's the consolation prize for going to Edmonton.
I mean,
Sorry, listeners in
well,
Edmonton.
no, it's good they went to Edmonton because I had my choice of Maple Leaf Lounge or the Plaza Lounge because there was no lounges for me in Chicago.
Right,
So
which I also was shocked by.
Yeah, I had to go to the Chicago Blackhawks bar. I need a Stan Mikita burger.
Wow.
It was pretty good,
Did
actually.
you call my dad from there? He likes the Blackhawks.
No, he would have loved my dad would have loved it too. My dad was a big Blackhawks fan growing up. But they're a shitty franchise and they are, they can kick rocks.
Yes.
So that was 30 hours in Chicago. Do you have any questions?
I mean, that was a very thorough recount. But my questions, I mean, whenever we do something without each other, one of my first questions always was your rose and your thorn.
My rose, I have thought about this since you asked me yesterday.
You're not supposed to say that I already asked you that question, pretending like it's the first time. Odd.
Well, a peek behind the curtain. My rose remains the same. That it was the community that created or that came around me, and like I entered the city alone, and then I meet the guy from Reverb that I've been emailing with, and he was really kind. And then you start meeting the people in line. You meet listeners, meet Jack White. And all of a sudden, they're propping you up. They're helping you get tickets. They're taking photos of you and Jack White, which has become this like that's just so special that.
Yeah.
And you don't ask for these things. These things came to me. So sense of community is my rose, and I stick with my thorn. I wish I cropped the photo better.
See, I disagree. I think the angle of the photo exactly as you posted it kind of captures more of the vibe.
Sure, and if you're
going to frame it for the wall, sure, zoom it in. But even that I would push back on because I think it's like, it looks like it's kind of taken of like a snapshot in time, not like a photo, like has a lot of personality.
Yeah.
And on the community aspect, I had a really heartwarming text conversation with Mike Noble as well about how like cool it was that there were so many people coming together to like make things happen for you. And clearly they're appreciating the work that you're putting into this podcast,
what did Mike say?
A lot of work.
What did Mike say?
Oh my gosh, we were just talking about how all your dreams are so cute. And then I told him what I told you the night before you left, which was that there's this picture of you meeting Bret Hart, the wrestler, when you were a little kid. And I just got like butterflies when I first saw it. And then when you started doing the show and had the lofty goal and started to really get traction, and I was just like, so that picture is, for anyone watching, it's like right around the corner on the wall there. And whenever I would look at it, I would have this thought of like, I'm going to get to see like that kid when you get to meet Jack White.
Yeah.
And so it was really cool to see it happening. And I wasn't there in person to see it, but it was so awesome to like see the photo and get the phone call from you relaying it in your shaky, excited voice of like, it's still not really sinking in.
And I think I should say,
and being like gobsmacked about, people coming together. And
my one thing I want to say is like, it is cool to meet Jack White. but and as neat as it is, it's like, okay, he's a very famous person. I had this brief interaction with him. That's neat. Like I get to tell people I did that.
Yeah.
But the thing that gets me so amped up about this is that I'm doing this project, and the goal is to speak to him.
Yeah.
Or to have a conversation with him. So I'm more excited at the positive steps going in the right direction.
Totally.
To like achieve my goal. And, I think that, no knock to him,
Mhm.
but like, I have a handful of guys that I would just be like, if I did a CM Punk podcast or, just thinking of guys that I would to put in that spot. Like,
Yeah.
So it's special that I'm meeting somebody that I've liked for 24 years now.
Yeah.
But it's 1,000 times more special that I've set out on I've have a project and a goal, and I'm working towards it.
Yeah.
That's the crux of all of it. Because if I didn't have this podcast, I would not have flown to Chicago.
No.
But because I have an opportunity to shoot my shot and ask and to make it even more real, then that's something you have to do.
Yeah.
So and maybe that's what separates me from the people that are just like, I don't know how to communicate to this person.
Well, I mean, sure, but I think it's also that like you are creating the situations to make all of this happen.
Yeah.
And even in like your text to our friends or family when this started happening, and you're like, long story short, here, I'm going to Chicago and I'm telling you because you're my friend. And you were like, I fell ass backwards into this opportunity. I'm like, you didn't fall ass backwards into anything. You have been putting like hours upon hours of your life into this show every week for over a year.
Yeah.
And you are putting yourself out there with a very lofty goal that really inspires me to put myself out there and do things. I'm sure for others too, that like there's always been a chance that you would fail. But like, it's so cool that you're now like a third of the way through the catalog.
Mm-hmm.
And it's very clear at this point that if Jack is going to do it, then he's going to do it. And if he won't, he never would have. Like, you're never going to get to the end of this and say, oh, if only I had XYZ. Like,
yeah,
he's going to do it if he's going to do it. And he's not if he's not. But you have already, I feel, surpassed any milestone of like how close you would get.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. No question.
And that's really cool. And you're seeing the community of people who care about this music and this show rally around you to make it happen.
Yeah. It's a very powerful feeling.
Yeah.
And it's like, if I could say special for the 40,000th time, like it is special.
Of course.
And no, dear friend Jeff, groomsman Jeff on the end there.
I was going to point at it, but I can't
on the
really
right.
see. Yeah.
When I was telling him about the Blackwell episode and the things that came from that, and I was like, things are really falling into place. And he's like, they're not falling into place. You're meticulously putting them there.
Yeah.
And you can, I think it's because I don't take anything for granted and I don't expect anything. But like the way this came together, I think I did fall ass backwards into it. Now, I didn't fall ass backwards into it because I have cultivated, important relationships with people that I know and trust and love who are looking out for me.
Mm-hmm.
And just to me having these relationships with good people, they've cultivated relationships with good people.
Yeah.
And that's how it comes together.
Yeah.
So
and then if you don't have the courage to put your lofty goal out into the world publicly,
yeah,
then it's never going to happen.
Yeah. And if it doesn't happen, then I go, yeah, I did 150 something episodes doing every single song of the White Stripes catalog, and I, said something to Third Man, and I flew to Chicago to ask Jack White, and I saw him in Dublin, and I said, hey, dickbag, get back to me. Then I can end this project being like, well, shit, I had a 2-year project, and this guy did not want to talk to me.
But he's not doing podcasts.
Then, hey, that's that. Sucks to suck. But
you can't even say that, though, because it doesn't suck to suck.
I'm not sucking. No, I'm not saying it sucks for me to suck.
Are you saying it sucks for Jack to suck?
He hasn't had his great interview yet.
I mean, for sure.
But then I can say I did everything in my power.
Yeah.
And if he didn't do it, then he really, really, really does not want to talk about those 3 mystery songs.
Right. Yeah.
Fine.
And it's very cool that you're there already.
Yeah, I would agree. So to wrap up, here's what the wide angle of this room looks like. This poster is from September 2003, my first time seeing the White Stripes. On the subject of community, James from Detroit sent me that. On the subject of community, Keith from Minnesota sent me this.
What is it?
It's the Jack White complete lyrics. He sent this to me because he got 2 copies, and it was signed by Jack White. So if we're talking about how great the community is, that's the community right there. Cool people
that is
responding.
Awesome. Hi, how dare you not point out that it's also signed by friend of the show, Ben Blackwell.
Listen, I'm getting real tired of Mr. Blackwell. I'm about to fly to Nashville. I'll give my heads up. I don't want to scare him.
But he said he's never trusted me, and now I have many reasons not to trust him either. So.
I say I fly to Nashville. I fight Ben Blackwell.
Fighter pose.
In my fighter pose. It's a bamboozling. And then I say, bring that gangly bastard out here. I got a word with him. That's right. Hey, guess what? Maybe I don't even like all the 3 songs that we're going to talk about.
I still don't know what they are. And that's not bullshit.
Nobody.
I really don't.
Nobody knows.
But I'm smart. I think I'll figure it out.
I'll tell you this. 3 people know what the first song is.
Wait, what? Oh, Jack?
If
Ben?
all goes well, Ben Blackwell knows what the first secret song is.
What do you mean if all goes well?
If the means that I went through.
Oh, I see.
He would know what the first secret song is.
Based on what you sent.
Jack White would know based on what I sent.
Okay. And I know what you sent, but I don't know the deep White Stripes.
And Rob
context.
Harvilla knows the first song.
Oh, okay.
Because I showed it to him.
Oh.
Yeah.
All right. Well.
All right. Any other closing remarks?
I don't think so. That was a very thorough recount. Is there anything that you wanted to say about the weekend that I didn't ask you about?
No.
That was very good.
All right. That was Amanda. I'm Ryan. Ryan and Amanda. Pretty good conversation. We'll be back next week. I'm recording a very fun episode on Thursday. Can't tell you.
Okay.
Her name's Courtney.
Ah.
She posted something on Instagram in last month that really brought a lot of attention.
Yes, I'm excited about this.
And I'll tell you this, if all goes well with the interview, and by that I mean assuming it happens, the next song is a cover, the next song is not on an album, and the next song is one of my favorites. The Hardest Podcast is hosted and produced by me, Ryan Schaap, artwork by Catlin Likely. Amanda Schultz is our assistant editorial producer. And based on how this whole thing went, Mike Noble is our Gato.
The best.